going straight up and straight down. There's still a bunch way up. Well, good morning in Pamukkale still. And today we're gonna check out the Travertine pools and the historical site of Hierapolis, if that's the right way to say it, before heading off to Aphrodisia later in the afternoon. So let's get started. Here we go. I wonder if this is actually where the Travertine flats are, or the pools are. I guess we shall find out. Looks like you can rent golf carts up here. So we went up to the north gate thinking we'd sneak in the back way like we did at Ephesus. And they don't open until 8 o'clock. So we've had to haul our butts back down to the south gate in order to get access, and that's open around 6:30 or 7 in the morning. And the buses have already started arriving, so not quite sure what we're in for, but we're looking at plains with little bits and ruins all throughout. So what do we have here? Antique pool, the museum. Ah, Travertines. Keep going this way. And a medieval castle. Wow, I didn't know they had a medieval castle up here as well. Well, here we are at the top of the Travertine pools. Looking pretty empty though with the drought. I read somewhere that they were controlling the amount of water that flows through it now while they rehabilitate it. And one last lonely balloon. Oh, there's one more in behind it too, but it must look pretty spectacular when they've got water cascading down through all of this. So I think there's some over there that have the water in them. We'll make our way over and see. These Travertine pools were formed when this hot spring stream, rich in dissolved calcium bicarbonate, cascaded down the face of this cliff, where it cooled and hardened into calcium deposits. The warm water still flows down and into these pools for tourists to wade around in and to take selfies in. It's 8 o'clock and there's still probably 1,000 people here, scattered throughout. And this is the only area they have flowing right now. So if you want this to yourself, you got to get up here about 6:30 in the morning. You have to enter through the south gate because the 8 gate or the north gate doesn't open until 8. And here you have it. The Pamukkale Travertine Pools. So the result of millennia of water leaching through the soil and bringing with it mineral deposits. And tourists. Well, this part is pretty rocky. A little ouchy on the feet. And very, very slippery. Feels almost like you're walking on brushed coral or something. It's not sharp, but you can feel the edges. And ooh, that's a little chilly. It is cool. It's about 18 degrees out right now. Ooh, but this is warm. And the bottom has kind of a soft, silty feel to it. But a fight for a place to stand and take a picture. Well, out here on this, it's a lot less slippery. Feels almost like you're walking on a fine grit sandpaper. What's that?
I said this really is something.
Pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
So, Christine, can you picture Romans hanging out in the pools here?
taking in the mineral baths before heading back up into the city, maybe catch some theater, head to the gymnasium for a workout, maybe over to the forum for some Roman street foods. Well, they're all coming up as we head up from the pools into the remains of the ancient city.
Toilet, you need to go to the antique pool, Cleopatra pool.
All right.
Well, we're fueling up with a little coffee and orange juice first thing in the morning. Any thoughts on the Travertine pools there, sweetie?
It was wonderful.
Mhm.
My feet feel so soft.
I know, it's like a pedicure, getting your feet sanded with a pumice stone. So we're going to finish this up, have a little caffeine break, and then we're going to head out to Hierapolis. Looks like a pretty big site. So stay tuned. The Archaeological Museum of Hierapolis is a collection of structures consisting of the ancient Roman bath, the gymnasium, and a library. The construction of the Hierapolis Southern Bath, or the Great Bath Building, opens up to the Travertine Canals, and it was started in the time of Hadrian around 120 AD, and it was completed in the time of Severus, or the 2nd century AD. So after the abandonment of the city, the sediments accumulated by the water-forming Pamukkale's white travertines actually raised the floor of the Roman bath by almost 5 meters. Most of the artifacts here were unearthed on the site during earlier excavations. This room of sarcophagi and statues contains reliefs of bullfights and a panel depicting the legend of Marsyas, who was flailed for daring to enter a music contest against the god Apollo. Check out this, Christine. Even the ancients couldn't get away with without graffiti on everything. I guess it's that desire to live on forever. Whoever wrote this got their wish. So after a room full of sarcophagi and statues, we come outside for all the broken bits. But they're nicely arranged with some nice gardens and things. Yeah. And even more graffiti everywhere. Well, the site goes on forever. Stretches up into those hills, across the top, and even way back up there, there's still people walking around. And here they come, en masse. So this is the view of the Travertine pools from the other side. Now you're not allowed down in here. Well, I guess you can put this on the been there, done that list, eh?
Lucky us for having to be able to be here in the first place.
Yes, it is.
What a beautiful view.
That's where the balloons all took off from. Although the prices have gone through the roof for the tourist stuff, they have invested in tourist infrastructure. And everywhere you go, first of all, it's really clean. They take care of the garbage and things. But there's walkways and gardens and landscaping that complement the ruins themselves. So with no water running, this side's completely closed. And then the therapeutic mud bath looks to be pretty closed too. But there's always the ancient city site behind it to explore, so we're having a good time. So this up here is the north gate where we came in the morning, but had to go to the other gate because this one didn't open till 8. And you've got people golf carting it from the gate parking lot to kind of the main tourist area in the middle, back where the museum was. But this must have been a spectacular sight 2,000 years ago. Hierapolis of Phrygia. I'm sure I'm not saying that right.
green gate.
So it says this is a public latrine. As soon as you come in through the main city gates. And here behind me, we have the main city gates. And this is where you would have walked through to come down into the city. To head down this monumental pathway to the entrance. And apparently this was a bunch of sarcophagi that were all lining this road. They've all been moved now, but and a tomb over there. It's the WC, sweetie. It's the WC. And heading back this way takes us to Cleopatra's Pool. Now it seems to be quite the tourist attraction, because when we walked by it about 20 minutes ago, there was a huge lineup. And there's an extra charge, but I think it's all covered on the museum pass. So our ancient cities scramble is going to be coming to an end shortly, as our 15-day museum pass expires. But if you're going to do it like us and run around and see everything in the first 2 weeks, it's definitely well worth the €165 each we paid for them. And we still have a few more sites before it expires, so stay tuned. So now we're getting into the Byzantine period here, with this here being the Byzantine Gate. And this was, I guess, around 2 centuries AD. It said on the sign there earlier, so earlier was Roman. And there was a water distribution system that ran through the entire city, with a lot of it still remaining, with a main central distribution channel running along here, and then at each row of individual houses it came off and followed a path down to each individual house. Which would have been a fantastic sight to see. sewer system, it would probably be pretty stinky.
Scared of going into a shell.
Oh, I think so. Poor guy. Either that or he's getting ready to pounce and tear my arm off. Well, that's the first one we've seen here. Well, definitely on the scale of Ephesus, but a whole lot more spread out. Lots of great buildings. And a ton of work going on here. There wasn't much work going on at Ephesus, but everywhere you look, somebody's doing something to catalog something or move it around. There's a covered site up here where there's a few people working. Wonder what's inside those.
So they used this 3D printer to
Make this
make
statue?
a new one. Yeah.
Wow. Out of marble? Like they carved it?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. With a 3D printer.
The missing parts of the originals, the head of Pluto, 2 heads of service, were recreated by digital restoration. So this is
What is it? Ah, the plutonium.
like there were the 3-headed dog. So this is the gateway of health.
Okay, follow me.
So he's guarding you.
And that is the gate to hell.
Here, look at the bubble water coming. Not let the spirit of the dead people who come to earth. That's next. You may see that right and left side. In that time, look at the boat. You may see the bull ceremony there. What is the bull ceremony?
So the bubbling is carbon dioxide percolating out with the mineral water. And that's why this was the gate to hell. Because if you went in that portal, the gas is so strong that it would kill you. And part of their rituals was to take a bull and put it in there, because a bull is a big, strong animal, hard to kill. But the gases from this portal would poison. Kind of creepy, if you ask me. So if hanging out in hell isn't your thing, then you can always visit the theater behind me for a little blood and guts gladiator gore. And here you go. All that explanation, all on a nice board. Everything's pretty well marked here with a lot of historical content. And they do have a little headphone set you can take with you. We're kind of freestyling it though, but the signs provide everything. Though built by the Romans, Hierapolis' theater followed the Greek plan of the cavea, or the seating area, built into the slope of the mountain. The seating area is divided into 2 parts, an upper and a lower seating surrounding an orchestra that could be filled with water to recreate naval battles. It has one of the best preserved skiing buildings, the 3-story facade at the back of the stage that would have been brightly painted, with its frieze depicting Apollo and Artemis, amongst others. At the center of the cavea, right above the orchestra, is the royal dais from where the emperor or others would be seated, and it's estimated to be able to seat about 10,000 individuals. It's one of the best preserved Roman theaters in Turkey. Well, is it scarier going up or down, sweetie?
Going down. My foot doesn't fit properly.
All right, we're in the senator level right now, I guess. As opposed to the cheap seats up here with the clapping and cheering spectators. Fortunately, they have to be back on their bus in an hour, so we get to hang out. A little Greek graffiti this time? Or do you suppose that says this way to the bathroom? And this is Cleopatra's hot water springs. So Cleopatra was supposed to have bathed here with Mark Antony. And from here, we have this beautiful view of the site. And then you come around here. And here you can lounge in water that's about 105 degrees. With magical, mystical healing powers. And hang out amongst the columns and pedestals from the original baths. They charge an extra 15 bucks to get in, but well worth it to bathe amongst some antique columns. Maybe even improve your skin a little bit. And then you can buy an overpriced burger. And I think our next stop is time for lunch. And with that, we'll see you soon. Well, the back of the museum is always an interesting place. They store the stuff that's not quite nice enough to put on display inside, but still too nice to be left outside where someone might steal it or damage it. And the nicest part about a site like this is that everybody flocks to the biggest attractions or draws, like the theater, and don't make it out to see some of these things. So once again, we find ourselves the only people on the site, which is always nice, especially if you need a selfie moment. Massive. Look at the size of these things. And finally, the city walls. Time for an Adana kebab duel. That's the quest now, is to find a nice Adana kebab for lunch. Yeah, cobbled together from antiquity. These walls were built in Byzantine times to fortify the city from Ottoman aggression. Built around the 4th century by Theodosius the Great. They mirror the more northern Byzantine gate and were built around the same time. Remnants of the previous Greek and Roman buildings and temples was scavenged to construct these walls. And you can see evidence of that throughout them. Today overlooks the Kiddies Water Park. Little pounding Turkish disco to go with lunch. And a view of the Travertine Cliffs. Wow, look at all the people up there now. It looks like a ski hill from here. Well, thoughts on Cleopatra's Pool there, sweetie?
It was really nice.
A little hot?
It was very warm, so it was nice in the beginning, but then after a while it wasn't very refreshing. I got even more overheated. The sun beating down. But it was really neat. They had the columns underneath, so you were like sitting on a column or walking over a column. And yeah, it was different.
All right, and now we're having lunch in some off the side street funky terrace place for my first Adana kebab. This looks pretty authentic, so looking forward to it. All right, well there's the chicken kebab.
Yep.
And I have the Adana kebab, but I couldn't wait, so. And it's just yummy. So, you know, wouldn't this look nice in the on the terrace?
Thank you very much. Okie dokie Kappadoki.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Canada.
Canada.
Toronto.
Toronto. You don't have
Okay.
one for Pamukkale?
Eh?
You don't have one for Pamukkale too?
Pamukkale, very good.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. We're still in Pamukkale, not in
Bye-bye.
Cappadocia. Thank you. Osmanli Restaurant. This has been my office for the last couple of days. With good Wi-Fi. We have breakfast over here. And the rooms are up here. Nicely shaded with some grapevines. This has been one of the highlights of the place so far. A great little family-run operation. Sad to go, but excited that we're heading back to the coast to check out Bodrum. Stay tuned for more.